The Legend of the Ghost Train. Adriano, Mauricio, and Gustavo were three inseparable friends who grew up together since childhood in the village where they lived. A railroad passed nearby, but had been abandoned for many years. There was also in that small town a widower named Afonso, who retired from working for the railroad for more than 30 years of his life, where in the past he was an excellent machinist. Mr. Afonso spent more than 6 hours every day sitting on the bench of an old and small train station that used to be used only for boarding and unboarding workers. In other words, people who worked in a mining company that was located in the vicinity of that town. All the local residents found Mr. Afonso's habits very strange and even questioned his sanity, because whenever they asked what he was doing there, the old man would answer, "I'm waiting for him to come back. I know he will come back, but he who is Mr. Afonso?" the residents asked, and he always answered, "My train that will bring my son back." And then the old man, he shed some tears of longing for his son and his old profession. But what to think of all this if that railroad no longer works? There were no locomotives in operation, but the old man always answered the same thing. In the past, Senor Afonso, by fate, had lost his only son, who died tragically trying to jump from his working locomotive. This may have left deep scars on the mind of that old engineer. Those boys, Adriano, Mauricio, and Gustavo, after reaching a certain age of approximately 8 years old, began to play in places further away from their homes, including at that old train station where they met Senor Afonso every day. They still did not know the sad reality that that man had been carrying for many years. On a certain day, the boys then decided to play with that old man, telling him that they heard the noise of the locomotive and that it would soon be arriving at that station. Senor Afonso's eyes shone again in a different way. He immediately stood up, took a small comb from his pocket, and quickly combed his hair back. In the blink of an eye, the color of the sky and the whole scenery around it changed, and from far away came the old steam train whistling and smoking as always, now meeting its old friend the engineer, Senor Afonso. "You boys are right. My train is arriving and it is bringing my son. I want to take you for a ride." The boys were enchanted by all that magic and didn't even pay much attention to the details. They just wanted to take a ride on that train. That steam train, driven by no one, then parked in front of that old station, and he looked window by window, but unfortunately he couldn't find his son. He now coldly climbed in and entered the cabin. The boys also got into the first car, and each one sat in their seat where they waited by the window for the whistle to announce its departure. The TRE then left Sam forever. Months later, another story repeated itself in that village. 3 desperate mothers went to that old train station every day and sat there waiting the whole time. When someone asked them what they were doing there, they all answered at the same time, "We are waiting for them to come back, and very close." From there some children were playing, including one of them had just shouted, "Look, the train is coming, I just heard ah."